I wanted to make you aware of this recent news report that I just saw today that said that it is cheaper to buy a home in certain cities than it is to rent. And when I looked up and I did some more research on how much people are paying for rent, I found that it is in some areas more than they even stated in this news report, that it is very close. It is very close, or even, if it's not even, it's like below that. It's really more cities than they even showed in this. So I want to show this to you, and then I'm going to come back and I want to make you aware of other benefits of home ownership.
Looking for a new home? A new report shows it's cheaper to buy than rent in four major U.S. metropolitan areas. New data from real estate brokerage Redfin found that a monthly mortgage in Detroit, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Houston is lower than estimated average monthly rental cost.
Okay, here are the states that they talked about. They had Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and Houston, Texas. Now, their reasoning behind it was that they said that the housing prices did not grow that much during the housing boom in these areas. And that could be true because I have family down in Texas, and you can get a lot more of a house than you could get up here in Wisconsin. Like like the same what you would pay for $500,000 in Texas, it would cost you $1 million up here in Wisconsin, or 800,000. I don't want to say it was that much cheaper, but you can get like a full brick house because that's just the way that they build them down that way. And so that was their reasoning behind what had happened. But this could actually be lit up even more because yeah, the housing, uh, the prices of the homes went up, but they seem to be discounting that if the houses went up in areas, and there's still a lot of management companies and landlords that are buying properties to rent them out, they're not going to rent those properties out at a loss, regardless. And if housing prices went up, that means that competition went up for being able to buy rental income properties. So they had to pay a higher price. And I used to be in that business, and I remember going to auctions. At one point, I could go to an auction and I could get a home at, bid on one for
Returning
like
visitor.
$25,000. And then when it really got hot, right before the crash in 2008, you go there and people were bidding $100,000 on that same property. So, regardless of what they're saying with this, me being someone that is close to the real estate industry with several friends of mine and business associates that flip houses or that own properties and rent them out, they raised their rents according to what they paid for the properties. And even for properties that they've had in the past that could have been paid off or almost paid off, they still increased those rents. So um, I just want to make everyone aware that even though these states they may be saying that it's not cheaper to buy than to rent, I would say that it's probably either neck and neck or a little bit lower to rent than it is to buy. But I want to make you aware of some information that might even change your mind about that. Okay, so let's take a look at this. When you own a home, you will be building equity. Equity is something that you could use if you need to borrow money against your home. Equity, you know, could be from making your payments over time, and you can sell your home for less than what you owe. Equity can really build up, and you might be saying, well, if I'm just making, a $2,000 a month payment, how much equity am I building? And also, I have the interest rate that's being charged, and they charge the interest front loaded on mortgages. Hey, I'm here to tell you from experience, equity will build up. And even if your equity, say you got a $2,000 payment and you're put $1,000 go to your equity every payment. look at how much money you're building. If you're renting, zero goes to it. Appreciation of value. When I purchased one of my homes, it was for 200 and no, it was for 352,000, and I sold that house for almost $700,000. So you could see how the value blew up on there, and that's what you call appreciation value. So your house can appreciate, and that's what they were talking about with what had happened in the other cities and states is that they had a housing boom and the prices of the houses went up. Well, when prices of the houses go up, that's appreciation value. People can sell those homes for a lot more. The next thing is security of ownership. I talk about this a lot, security of ownership. When you own your own home, you don't have a landlord looking over your shoulder. You don't have to ask the landlord, can you change the paint in one of the rooms? There's just so many things that you don't have to worry about. You make all of the decisions when it comes to your home. Maybe you have to deal with those what do you call them? The where the I forget, I can't even think of the word right now, but where those they're in charge of the either the district or I can't even think of the word for it, but where they're in charge of making sure that everybody is following the rules in the neighborhood. Somebody will type in what that company is called. Then the next thing is the payment history. If you're not paying on your mortgage, if you're paying on a mortgage, you're going to gain the benefit of that payment history as a direct primary trade line on your credit reports. That's going to help you a lot because you're going to be showing that you're making a nice size payment, and then you're going to show that you're making that payment over time. The next thing is you're going to get approved for higher limits if you do go out there to try to get credit, because when you own your own home, it shows more stability than an individual that doesn't own their own home. That's just the way that the credit algorithm is written, and it's a benefit that you might as well take advantage of because it's there if you are making payments and you own a home. That's just going to be one of those added benefits. They always ask, do you own or do you rent? They don't just ask that just for any reason. The next thing, you can pass down or sell your home. I kind of talked about selling my home earlier. I had purchased it for 352,000 and sold it for almost 700,000. That is exactly what you are able to do. Or if you want to pass it down, I don't know if you saw Jerry Springer. He just recently passed away, and I'm not laughing about that, but it was kind of crazy that he did that. What he did in his will, where he left the homes to his two uh, biracial children, and then I think he left one home to his two daughters from his wife. But you're able to pass down those assets, and so there's so many benefits to home ownership, and for some reason, there has been this movement of people telling people that you don't need to own a home. And when you look at what a lot of those so-called uh, gurus or whatever they want to call themselves, what they're doing is they're going around buying up all of the property, which is crazy. All right, if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process and my two-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports. It's going to be very important. If you need to repair your credit so you can get a home, so you can start building wealth, this is one of the first places that people start to build wealth is in their home. Get that taken care of. Either do it yourself or contact us so we can see how we can help you. If you have debt collectors coming after you, grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations, debt validation letter, cease and desist, collection activities letter. Use those, the one that's appropriate for your situation. I do ask for a donation on those if you feel that it's worth it. It can literally save you time, money, and frustration. I'm telling you exactly what to do. And before I let you go, I want to speak a little bit on the statute of limitations. I just spoke with a gentleman today who has several charged off accounts. And I was like, "What state do you live in?" He said he lives in New York. And I said, "You know, those debts could be past legal statute of limitations to collect." And he said, "Well, how do I know?" You got to get the credit reports. You got to look at the charge-off date. That's when the clock starts to tick. If the debt is past the legal statute of limitations to collect, they have no legal options to be able to come after you for the debt. More than likely, they've already filed a 1099-C to where they've canceled out the debt, and it just might be late getting to you. So take the time and do that work, because you can stop a lot of the frustration. Like this gentleman that I spoke to, he had a lot of frustration, anxiety, and I'm like, if you just get your credit reports, will be able to know if these debts are past the legal statute of limitations. Don't just go off of your memory. Get the facts. Getting that credit monitoring from one that provides all of the details, like the ones that we provide. That's going to let you know, because if you have not paid a creditor for 180 days, a credit card, for example, it's going to be charged off. And for some automobiles, it'll get charged off in 3 months to 6 months. So you never know. And if you have cell phone debt, cable bill debt, anything that's communications that's regulated by the federal government, that's a 2 year statute of limitations. So if it's after 2 years, they can't even collect on that debt. So thank you for your time. Please post your questions and comments. This is Stephen A. Williams, President and founder of the CreditRepairShop.com.